Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. My name is Saima and welcome to Saima's Experience. It's been a few days since I've posted. Unfortunately, a bunch of people in my family ended up getting COVID, so I really had to jump into caretaker mode and just make sure that everyone was good and well. And by some miracle, I didn't catch it. Don't know how, but thankfully that was the case. So I really hope you guys are all staying healthy and well out there and kind of just being able to make progress. So I feel like I'm super behind. So here is today's video. Let's get into it. I want to go over the 3 things that I would do if I was starting Turo for the first time in 2022. Now, most of you know I've been on the platform for almost 7 years now. I've hosted thousands of trips, and believe me, I have learned my lessons, some the hard way, and so hopefully you guys can take from my experiences and have a much better journey on the Turo platform, and especially one that is stress-free and seamless. So that is what I hope to bring to you here today. Now, the number one thing that I would start off with if I was just getting started on the Turo platform is focusing on the experience that you provide and the experience that you receive as a host. Now, you have to remember that yes, you place cars on the Turo platform to rent out, right? And it may appear as if it's a car rental business, but really you're in the business of providing people experiences. Now, when I started, I was literally just listing random cars, whatever I could get my hands on, right? I didn't really know about doing market research, and I didn't really understand the concept of providing my guest experiences. And so I just listed whatever came my way. I started out with a smart car, and I had a Mini Cooper, and I had, a Kia Sorento and a Chevy Silverado and just everything under the sun. And then I learned over the years that there are certain cars that not only bring my renters a good experience, but they also bring me, the host, a good experience as well. So the host experience and the renter experience should go hand in hand, and that's exactly what you should work towards figuring out, which car will serve both. And so here's what you should do. Now, to focus on the experience, you got to do a lot of research and do your homework, right? And you have to ask yourself certain questions based on where you're located and the time allocation that you have at Turo. What type of cars would you enjoy hosting? What type of cars would you enjoy renters experiencing? And based on where you live, what makes the most sense? So for example, I'm here in Southern California, and I know people visiting here, people who spend time in Southern California typically hit the beach cities, and that experience of having something like a convertible is just phenomenal. People absolutely love that. And that's something I myself enjoy as well. So it kind of helped me get down to the cars that I would love hosting and that I know people would love hosting by taking things like this into consideration. So one of the things that I would recommend is if you're just getting started on Turo, I would spend bare minimum at least 1 month to a few months doing research on what you think people would enjoy and what you would enjoy hosting, right? And there is a wealth of information out there. You can go watch some extremely popular YouTubers like Doug DeMuro, for example, who always has, the advanced exposure to new cars that are coming out, exciting cars that are coming out, and you get a lot of user feedback from that as well. If you read through the comments section, you'll see what people are saying about those cars, and it's going to start giving you a clue into what cars people might really enjoy and what they're excited about. And then you take that information based on what you see online, what seems exciting, what seems like it could be a good fit for the area that you're located in, and then you cross-check it with the Turo platform. So then you want to jump into doing market research on Turo, seeing, what kind of day rates do these cars get? Does it make sense based on what the cost of that vehicle is? And that's going to start leading you down the path of finding the car that's going to give you a great experience as a host and give your renters a great experience. So if I were to do it all over again, that would probably be the number one thing that I focus on Now, I do have a course which is hosted on powerhost.club, and it basically summarizes my 7 years of doing this, telling you exactly how to do that market research and figure out what cars are really going to be best to place on the Turo platform that accomplish exactly this. So definitely check that out. I have the details down in the description below. Now let's jump into number 2. The number 2 thing that I would do, which I did not do right off the bat, is have all of my cars under a business entity. Now in my course, I have a phenomenal video. It's an interview that I actually did with a tax accountant, and he had some great insight into exactly how you should structure your business so that you are protected, and most importantly, so that you take advantage of the tax deductions that are available to you. Now, aside from those reasons, it's great to have your cars under an entity because you can build out your business, you can build credit history, and most importantly, it provides a layer of liability protection to you as the host. If you operate under a business, then you personally do have some protection should something go horribly wrong and maybe somebody pursues for damages to you directly, which, knock on wood, hopefully you'll never have to experience. I should probably knock on wood, because Turo does offer liability protection to you as a host. So I've never experienced that happen, but I love having the peace of mind that I operate under a business, and should that ever happen, I really have nothing to worry about. So operating an entity, I think, also allows you to grow in the future. So if you can start off by getting your cars under your business name, maybe you co-sign them, maybe you personally guarantee them because you're just starting off. But in the future, it's going to help you expand should you want to grow your fleet versus what you might be able to accomplish if you did it under your name personally. So having a business entity, from my experience, has been an extremely important part of doing the Turo business, and it's something that I would definitely recommend. Now, once again, you can catch that interview at powerhost.club. Now, the number 3 thing that I wish I would have done, and I really didn't start doing it till more recently, is really focusing on building more sort of income streams or investments while you do Turo. So what do I mean by that? I know this sounds like kind of a weird one. The whole point of doing something like Turo is so that you can create this additional income stream, right? And so that you can have this productive asset, which is your vehicle, out on the roads working for you without consuming your time. Yes, Turo isn't totally passive, but for the amount of time that your car is out on the road versus how much of your time it takes to prepare a car or maybe get it maintained is extremely different, right? If, like, for example, one of my cars is out on a 30-day trip right now. That entire trip took about an hour of my time, 30 minutes to check it in, and it's going to take me 30 minutes to check it out and wash it and clean it when it comes back. So for that car working for me for 30 days, it took only an hour of my time. So that's what I mean. That's the whole point of doing Turo, is you want your productive asset working for you without taking your time. So one of the things that I wish I would have done is during that in-between time when your cars are out on rentals, I wish I would have taken the margins that I gained from my Turo business and really thought more about what else can I put that into so it continues to make me more money, whether it's a different income stream or expanding your Turo fleet. And I think I just never put enough time into that, right? But the whole point of this, again, is to use as little of your time as possible to make the most money as possible. And so one of the things that I'm going to start doing now, and hopefully you guys find this useful, I get asked by people all the time, like, what else do I do when I'm not doing Turo? And so as of last year, this is something that I really got into, is really thinking about where else can I put my money so that it's leveraged and it compounds over time. So I'm going to be posting a couple of videos on other things that I do to help me compound my money and take my money a bit further. That is maybe a little non-Turo related, but I think things that everyone should do. So you can catch those videos coming up on my channel. So I would say as you get into Turo, right, there are a couple of rules that you should implement when it comes to making your money work for you. Of course, you list your cars and you gain margins. You take the initial margins that you have, you build a safety net for yourself, right? Give yourself at least a 3 to 6 month runway in case something goes wrong or maybe your car needs maintenance. Once you have that little safety net, start thinking about what else you're going to do to leverage those margins that you receive from your vehicles, right? So other than it just being a source of income for you, can you grow your fleet? Can you purchase additional cars and continue to grow that income stream that you have? Can you invest that money into other things that also leverages the margins that you're bringing in without taking too much of your time? So these are things that I wish I would have thought about more and I would have put more effort into, because if you think about it, had I had done this 7 years ago and let that compound over 7 years, my money probably would have taken me much further than it has since I just started doing this last year. So think about what else you can do with that money, with those margins, and be extremely active about it. And I think that that is something that I wish I would have done. So hopefully these 3 tips that I provided you guys will help you set yourself up for a very positive and lucrative Turo journey. And if I was starting all over again in 2022, this is exactly what I would do. I would get into cars that provide better experiences. Some of my best cars have been like my Vanderhall Venice, which is a really cool 3-wheeler. I've had Polaris Slingshots. My Corvettes have always been a fan favorite. And then you have cars like the Porsches. I have a Cayman, which does incredibly well, and people just love it because they have such cult followings. So all of these types of cars provide so many cool experiences, and hopefully when the Cybertruck finally comes out, I would love to list something like that on Turo, because I know it's going to be such a crowd pleaser. So these are really the things that I think about. And then operate under a business entity and think about what else you can do to really make your money work for you. So these are my best tips that I can give you guys, all things I wish I would have done. I would love to hear from you guys what you think about for the hosts that have been on the platform, what you could have done differently, and maybe what are some things you're focusing on. So let me know. And if there are any additional topics you guys want me to cover, definitely comment down below and I will catch you guys in the comment section. So I'm glad to be back with you guys, and we will talk again very soon. Take care, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.